What's up, y'all? This is Ep.2 of Conversations with Master of Thought, and today I got Mike Texada with me, fashion designer, model, guru, all kinds of great stuff. I can't wait for you guys to meet him, and let's go check him out. How you doing today, man?
Doing good. Thanks for having me. Doing great. Actually.
Hey, man, I'm excited. Yeah, really excited that you're here. I was saying off air, like one of the things that we talk about the most is mind stream. You know, like for some reason, you know, you found me at the gym. We started working out and going through your struggles. And when I say that, it's like, you know, when you're pushing the weight up, you know, we're like expanding your physical attributes, but at the same time, we get to, you know, go on journeys together, and it's through conversation. And this one we're gonna share with the world right now. One of the first things that caught my eye about you was you're very detail-oriented when it comes to like your dreams and things like that. What is it inside your dreams that kind of like pulls that into reality and helps push your passion for your artwork?
Nice.
I know, heavy, right?
Right,
heavy.
gate. Let's see. Can you say it one more time?
You know, like how, because every time we talk about your dreams, it's always, you know, there's something like that's going towards what you're working on at the moment or how you're feeling about your daily life. And why is it that you pull from your dreams as far as your inspirations go?
Let's see. Why? I mean, I guess it's more of like the unknown, you know, exploring like the unknown of the dream. Like, because you feel like or for me personally, it's like a lot of dreams, I'll understand them, but then not understand anything. So it's like more so just so like exploring, like what's that even called, you know?
Right.
Like you understand, but you don't understand at all.
Yeah.
So it's like, is it really understanding at all?
That's a hard question though, because like, you know, again, people don't know how many conversations we've had already.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the one I kind of want to point out for everyone else to see is, you remember the one where we had a very similar dream where there was a car,
Yeah.
and we were switching perspectives of each person in the car.
Yeah.
You know, and like for myself, I took from that dream, like we are the same people, or we're all one, like living the same timeline, but because we're seeing it from different perspectives, we can't always communicate in the right way, you know, and you know, that's where a lot of like breakdown of, you know, warfare happens, you know, misunderstandings and people get upset with each other is because we can't see all those perspectives.
Yeah.
And from like watching that dream or like being in that dream, you know, and then, you know, going towards the end where we saw all those weird creatures and stuff like that, it tells me it's like, how can I communicate better, you know, and like, how is there, well, let me rewind. How do you see yourself using these dreams as another way to reach out to people when you're using this artwork? Wow. I know, man, I know. It's like I'm putting you on the spot.
That's great though, that's great. I mean, I guess it's because, like, you know, like a lot of people probably have the same confusions.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me personally, expressing, I guess, my confusion through artwork, it forms a community of people or it forms this common confusion that's not really like confusing anymore, you know? It's like, it's understanding now. And so I think like the fact that even like abstract art is a concept.
Right.
Like, there had to be some type of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because
like,
then there's no true explanation except from your point of view.
Exactly.
Right? And until you tell me, what is it really?
Exactly. Right? But then for it now to be like a mainstream concept that's just accepted as one community, that's kind of how I see like why I put dreams on canvas.
Gotcha. I know you got like this whole thing coming out. Can I even say anything on it? All right, cool. Because he got a lookbook coming out, y'all. The cover is Emergence, and it's already out. He's putting out on his IG. Check him out, Matt Complex or Mike Texada.
Yeah.
And this is another thing. It's like you are able to paint that, but how did you get into the whole fashion industry? Why is that a passion for you also?
Modeling. At 16, I started modeling, and from 16, I would say until about 22, I did it like seriously, and then I still do it like for my own brand, but like modeling was pretty much like the fashion thing. And then growing up as a child, it's always like a big part of, you know. I mean, in all honesty, like just being a black kid at school, you don't want to get roasted for your clothes. So it's like,
yeah,
it's a big part of, I would say, our community, honestly. And so my upbringing personally, like we spend a lot of money on stuff like that, you know, on clothes and like shoes, Jordans, all that stuff. So it's like, I think around maybe 19, I was like, okay, we spend a lot of money on this stuff. I can make my own. And so, I mean, in terms of like the industry part, I guess it was more so like just being behind the scenes of modeling, but like in terms of like the physical creation of the brand and the clothes, that came from a totally different spot of like,
well, you know, elaborate on that, man. That's why I'm here. I'm trying to find out more about you in a way that I can capture it and like make it history right here, because there's no other time but now we're witnessing it at this moment.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure. Okay, let's see then. I mean, trying to put this in a way that I can just flow with it.
I got another question too. I'm gonna just hold it though, because
it might help out, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you consider yourself a hype beast?
No.
But you're saying, like, you know, you guys spend money on it. It's a big deal. Why is it part of your culture? Why is there a hype beast movement? Why is there, you know, so much of these people are like, oh, I gotta get those Jordans. Oh, I gotta get this. I gotta get that. You know, like these Yeezys that are like how much money, and that's like somebody's rent, somebody's mortgage. Like, why is it worth putting that much money on something that, you know, in the end, it's, you know, it may be tangible as you can hold it, but from any other perspective, you know, you bring it to a Somalian, they can't do nothing with that shoe. They ain't gonna eat that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, so that's a complex question, right? In answer, honestly.
Yeah.
But like, I would say, you know, with all there's a lot of reasons for the culture being, you know, like obsessed with appearance and all that.
Yeah.
But I would say, for me personally, you know, having nice things early, I understood, I guess, underlying reasons, you know, like underlying what people thought about this brand and why. So it's like at a certain age, I mean, it kind of became like the clothes itself, or just style and fashion itself, became a part of me. But then the reasons shifted. So I can't speak for the entire community and say like, oh, you know, like we don't buy shit because we don't want to impress like the next man or look a certain part, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's, you know, it's out there. But it's like, for me personally, it became, I would say, more of like a rebellious thing, you know? And it's like, you look at any era of any type of like shift or just big movement, there's always a look for it. And so the fact that I feel like our people are defined by a lot of our look that we didn't make, it was a rebellious thing.
I can see that.
So
I can definitely see that.
In terms of the importance, I feel like that's in the cultural like DNA, you know, like I think every culture probably has something in their, like, passed down in their DNA that, you know, it lives on, whether it's praise or not. But it's like, I would say, I mean, you know, like, it doesn't define me in the sense of like how much it costs is if it's good or not. You know? It's more of like, I can understand why see. I'm trying to think how to say this again, but
we got time, man.
yeah. What was the main question one more time?
It was why is it that that's part of your culture? You know, why does it?
I mean, yeah.
How did it become? You know, why you bring it out this way instead of like a normal hype beast would be, and you're not. Like, and I want to point out that like you're probably the most humble hype beast I know. Do you get what I'm saying? In that way, it's not saying that you are. Yeah. But it's saying that like every time we talk, it's like you're just sharing your art. Yeah. You know, and for one, thank you. Two, I know I'm unable to do what you do. You know what I mean? So it's like, for me, an appreciation of like just art form alone, which, and you know what I do, you know, and that's my palette. And I have no idea how you do it. You know, all these things on the wall, and it represents you. It's like you're sharing, but at the same time, you're not like forcing me to eat it like how, you know, that brand with the S and the big red, and you're selling these bricks.
Okay,
you get what I'm saying?
In that aspect, got you. So yeah, I mean, and again, I think that has more so to do with the cultural thing too, and like the rebellious thing I was saying earlier, like that part of it. Like, I mean, if I made clothes and tried to go like the generic route, well, first of all, I explained the reason like why I started making clothes. So it kind of already stems from a place outside of business. So then I think like a lot of hype beast like activities they have to do with business and like just making more money and popularity. So it's like already what I do stems from a place opposite of that. So that being the case, I'm not gonna jump at opportunities to where it's like, okay, this could make a lot more money, but I don't think it represents like what I'm standing for, what I come from, or you know what I mean, all that. So it's like that's more so like always my thing, and I mean, and again, I mean, you know, if people do it for business, that's all for it. Like, I enjoy all of it. You know what I mean? Like, I get that. I enjoy all of it, and it's like I honestly don't even know like what qualifies like, cause then I guess everybody sees hype beast as different. You know what I mean? Like, in your terms, like what's a hype beast? Like what's qualified?
Like for me, beast? Like, you know, there's cats that go out to the store and they'll park their butt in front of the store for 3 days trying to get those Jordans. You know, and they're not even, the point is to wear them. It's just to have them and then resell them. You know, it's like you're just glorifying the consumption of the product. You know, and it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't last.
And so I'll throw like a confusing wrench, just like interesting point, or more so a question, is like, so what if there's a brand that's like unknown, but people really just like the product, right? And it's not on like a major scale of production or any of that, and people camp out because they're really waiting for it. Like what if there was some type of like Prince collection that came out that was super exclusive and fire, you know?
Right, and you know they'd be on it.
You know, like the real Prince fans wait out for it. Even though you know there's real Prince fans in line, you know there's those hype beasts who are like, okay, I'm about to resell this for 3 times as much. So it's like, it's a confusing culture when it comes to hype beasts. And that's like, I don't know, it's weird, but it's like, do the brands make hype beasts or do, you know what I mean? Like, like, is that 2 different entities?
Yeah, is it like, is the brand producing these products because they keep trying to buy them, or is it these people buy them because the products are good?
There you go.
Right, I hear you.
You know, so it's like, it's a confusing type of thing, because I feel like, you know, like anybody could get popular at any moment, and everybody's waiting on their product, and then, you know, like they drop one thing and they're now like in a hype beast category, and it's like this person could have been evicted last week and has, you know what I mean? So it's like it's a weird type of culture.
Okay, I got you. Here's, I think this is the point you're. Remember when Kanye came out with a white tee, and it's just a plain white tee? Yeah. But because his name is behind it, people are spending how much? It's like $50 for a white tee. It's like, this is an undershirt that you don't actually even show to anyone. Yeah. You know, you're wearing it underneath. Yeah. Now, same thing with Calvin Klein and all these other big brands. It's underneath. Like, what are you gonna do? You have to go everywhere. Every club, you gotta lift up your shirt a little bit and say, oh, my underwear's showing. I got these Calvin Kleins. Now I'm on that, you know, I'm on this plateau and this person just wearing Hanes. Oh no, he's not cool. You know, like that stuff doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of times like me growing up, I used to wear, you know, Converse, right? Converse, they were neon green, neon pink, and black. And what people would wear today, they're like, oh, that's hella dope. Back then I was over there like, oh man, I hate these shoes. You know, I'm thinking like, cause to me, they're generic.
Yeah.
They don't perform well. They're flat on the bottom. You know, there's even people in the gym that say like they're the best for lifting. And I lift. And guess what? Those are uncomfortable. You know, like there's no performance for me at all. Like my foot's wide. You know, I wear them. I'll rip my toe. My left pinky toe will just, you know, ravagely go through that shoe. And it doesn't make sense to me. It's just, again, that's another trend or like a hype beast people trying to go inside like I'm a lifter. I got to wear these shoes.
And that's crazy you say that because, like, I'm a huge Converse fan and, like, my cousin hates them because his feet are wide and his feet are flat. And he's like, dude, they're not comfortable at all.
See, look, you just described my foot. I'm like a Hulk over here, you know?
And it's like me personally, like I can wear them with anything. And it's like, but I would never play them. I played them probably when I was like, tried to play them when I was like maybe 10. And that was the worst thing ever.
Right?
Like, yeah, like but I don't know, as a shoe, I think it's like one of the most timeless things ever. You know, like it can be worn in formal events. Even though if that's, even on, like on a hype beast kick, how you say it, it's like, just think of, I don't know, like, what separates something from being like hype beastie and then I guess you could say like a genuine culture?
Well, see, then that always goes back to style, right? Like you were just pointing out earlier when like eras have different styles. Like we had the flappers in the 20s, you know, the like rolling 20s in the 30s were like gearing towards like that, you know, like pinup. It was like pinup, and then we got into the 60s, you know, it was like flower children and stuff like that. And now it's just like, you know, everybody's wearing a tee, like some really tight pants that don't make sense to me. You know, they want to have them like, you get what I'm saying? Like you can't run, right? Like practicality wise, you know, they're talking about like, oh yeah, we run these streets. You can't run. Yeah. What do you mean? You're just like, you know, contradicting yourself. And it's like, for those people that, you know, and as I understand it, that was a sign in prison that's saying that you'll take it up there. You know, it was like, but you guys brought it out to the street acting like that's the cool thing to do. Yeah. You know, and I was like, you see, it's again, it's like a mixture of how like people go back over the same subject, but again, seeing it from those different perspectives, and we get stuck. Like, again, going back to that dream from earlier, it's like we get stuck in a rotation where we're just blinded from each other's vision. So again, when we start paying money for all these different things, it's like, okay, I'm gonna get me some Hanes shoes today. I mean, Hanes socks, and I'm gonna wear like the Adidas shoe on the outside, and nobody's gonna know what it is on the inside until I start talking. You know, like what's the real quality of that person? Because at that point, the clothes don't matter. You know. There was some other things I wanted to like ask you, man. Like, what pushed you to come in the first time to find me? You know, I know you were in a different mind state back then, and like, what is it that first got you to be inspired to change your life through, you know, your physical attributes at that time?
Well, I was always an athlete, and then I guess I had like maybe 2 years where I just stopped playing, and so it's like I lost hella weight, and from that point I was like, okay, I got to get back in shape. And my auntie actually boxed at the gym, and then she was like, well, this is the coach, and I was like, well, I don't want to do that. I want to work out. And like, okay, well, go to Arch the guy that, like what they say, like Arch the man or something over there, like he runs that. And I was like, all right. And so that's when I found you. And what was that, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago? Yeah, and so
we've been going hard since then, man. And like, you made like a hell of improvements, and like, just watching you go through your struggles, again, of like pushing through every time I ask for it. You know, you always give me 100%. You know, I always do the same for myself, and which is why I've gained the strength that I also have now. And like, and I share this knowledge because, you know, a lot of people don't know that I'm actually a cancer survivor. And, one of the things that the doctor told me was the only reason that you're still alive was because you were fit when I went into surgery. And so now me kind of helping out everyone else and like watching your eyes have like an epiphany every time like, oh, I can lift that now?
Yeah.
Oh shit, my arm is bigger, right?
Yeah.
It kind of, it's like a fulfillment for myself that I can't find nowhere else, because there's like treasures that kind of pop up. Literally, it's like your micro expression will make my whole day, because you're realizing in yourself that your level of confidence, and I know it's changed. I know it's changed, man. Like when we first started, and I would fake around and like flex in front of the mirror, we'd like mess with you, and then you were like very timid about trying to do that, and now it's like, oh yeah, I got you, I'm coming up, and like that's how I know there was like a big switch over, and like that's when I was able to push you a lot harder, and you gave me even more, and every time we finish a set or whatever, and you're laying down on the ground, and I'm knowing that you're asking for air and you ain't talking to me. I know you're not dissing me. I know you've just gave me everything.
Yeah.
You just gave me everything, and like, there's a lot of people that I come across. They talk about their big goals and like, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. The more they talk about it, I've realized like they're never gonna get there. Yeah. They're using all of their air to regurgitate the thoughts that they would like to have, instead of using that air to push that weight, and I really appreciate like you coming to me and like working with me all these years, man. It's like, and we ain't done. Like, and I've already realized like we just already started working together. This project right here for me is like really big. You're a community person. You help, guide the people that are around you. On like a spiritual tip, like, what is it that universally, like, you're like an energy person? How did you come across that kind of being or mindset when it comes to like your well-being or your self-care and stuff like that?
So let's see, like, well, first of all, like with the fitness thing, I would say like with just my personal health, like I've always considered myself thin and like always heard it from people, and it's like I don't think until I came in and like maybe, cause I mean we had the first 2 years like gained hella weight, and I stopped coming and I came back and lost the weight. So it's like I think after I lost the weight and then gained it back, and then like I had that period where I was super skinny, and I was like, okay, this is skinny. Like everybody was just talking shit back then. Like this is skinny.
Right.
And so I think like this time around, for me, like the spiritual part of it, I would say was like, it was a personal type of, like, I felt skinny when I felt skinny. It wasn't like, everybody always tells me I'm thin, but it's like, I didn't feel thin, you know? So it's like, I think like in that aspect, like just like the changes in like weight and seeing, cause like I said, I've always been an athlete, and then to not be an athlete and then actually feel like I couldn't physically do stuff was like, nah, now you need to, like, that's weak, you know? And so I would say that's like, for the like the fitness part, that's the spiritual part of it, about it for me. And then just like the fact that we can come in and have the conversations, I mean, you know, all that.
Yeah, like how did you get that approach? Because, you know, there's numerous religions, there's numerous ways to think.
I was making sure, I was making sure. So, I mean, I wasn't raised in church, my family, but I was raised in Catholic school. And then, I mean, like, I didn't understand, like, not I understand it, but like, I wasn't really into it in school. It was more of like a subject. And that's how I understood it, as a subject. So it was like, because again, at home, like, that wasn't our thing, you know? So it's like, I forgot what year it was in high school. I was like, I had a friend who was like super religious, and I was like, what, like, you really do this? And so I kind of got into like the parts of, you know, like the actual practices of it. And then like high school, just like I had friends from all different faiths. And again, I never identified with anything, so it was like I've always just kind of been in the middle, just kind of like listening to stories about everybody else's. And so I'm like, oh, that sounds tight, like I like that. That sounds tight, I like that. And you know, then after a while, I was like, I mean, I was really quiet, so you know what I mean? Like I always just was a listener. You know, when you're quiet, you don't talk much, so it's like you're always hearing everything.
Right.
So it's like that alone. I think I encountered so many different people, but then I heard so many similarities in everything. Then I saw practices. Then I had like some friends, like a lot of friends who were just really into it, but into like their personal faiths in different ways. And I don't know, like I would say for me personally, like I was never searching, because I kind of understood that like everybody had a home, you know, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? So it's like I said, like even to this day, I think I live here. Like I have my own personal sets of beliefs and everything, but it's like they live within an umbrella of like everything, you know, like
Yeah.
I just enjoy the conversations and narratives. I enjoy
Yeah.
people's thoughts on it. So it's like ever since the dreams, like exploring the unknown, you know, it's like everything's unknown to me at that point. If I'm talking to somebody of this culture, hearing what they do, like that's, what do I have, like what does it take away from me to, to tell them it's wrong? So it's like me never having, I guess, like my own core home, I never really had to fight anybody on like beliefs. So it's like I spent a lot of my years just kind of listening to other people's beliefs. So it's like that's kind of how everything formed.
So I'm not sure. Were you the one telling me that you read a little bit of like the other books, like the faith? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like similar to myself, I went on like a spiritual journey myself, and like I read bits and pieces of different things, scrolls, this, other books, and like you said, they have a lot of similarities, and for the most part, it's like I think a lot of them just talk about what love is, and be it whatever they want to call it at that point. Mm-hmm. I think like they're all searching for the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. It's just that when we're all separated and coming from a different culture, things are skewed because, like in those Middle Eastern countries, why are they wearing all this heavy black dark stuff? And I'm thinking like, isn't it like a desert? It's hot.
Yeah.
That's jacked up. Why y'all making them sweat under there? And then being over here, people are a lot more loose. They're not as like die hard, you know. Like, and there's people who say there's like radicals, and there's people who say, you say one thing but you do another thing, like levels of hypocrisy in all these different faiths. Yeah. But again, like just like yourself, I'm not so religious, but I believe that like being kind to people is a religion. Mm-hmm. Doing good things for others is a religion. Exactly. And like the more as I'm getting older now, like I'm figuring out that like the more love that you spread around, the more you'll get back. And not necessarily that's karma. Yeah. But I would be more apt to like, hey, you want my fries or you want my burger? Like you said, like last week he give me a piece of his pizza or whatever. It's like even trade. But there's a lot of times when like with my mom, I'm gonna tell a story about my mom. Like she's super diehard, into Roman Catholic stuff, and a lot of times like what I've noticed is those beliefs they're just so outdated. Mm-hmm. And then they were used at the time when they were made long time ago. And, she'll try to push it upon me. And because I grew up here, I don't understand her like that. But, she's still my mom, and I got to respect her in that way. And there's just been a lot of times where, the miscommunications kind of like kept us way apart. And like her going into older age now, I realized like, pushing her away wasn't the greatest idea. It's like now I want to take care of her as she's aging, and it's like, but she's still stuck in her ways. And I gotta accept her as the way she is, and I feel like that lesson that I'm learning there is something that everyone else should be learning. Like accept the person as they are. It's not that you have to believe in what they believe. It's we're sharing the same, time stream across time. Like we're just giant ball of dirt floating around in some giant space swirling, and like, we're going around a nuclear fusion device, and it's just nonstop. Yeah. Who's to say who's right or wrong? Because, even scientists don't have an answer after or before the Big Bang. Right?
Exactly.
And then all of the multiple fates don't exactly say anything before that moment too, so
like any source of info can be shattered.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And then remember the other day we were talking about like, man, it's time to like, start doing our thing, because there's a lot of people who are looking at us like, man, they're just crazy.
Yeah.
Why are they crazy? A lot of times people say the people who change the world are the ones who are crazy enough to think they can. And I'm one of those crazy people. People tell me this all the time, like, man, you're ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're crazy. And oftentimes I'll say thank you.
Yeah.
One of the things I don't ever want to be is like someone else, because like in our own uniqueness, especially like yours, like, again, levels of talent that I probably will never be able to reach, because it's just because I've delineated into a different realm.
Yeah.
And I think it's time for like us to kind of just show everyone that this type of love in our art form can be shared with everyone. It's not. They don't got to be like, oh, I can't draw. I don't want to do that because I'm gonna look stupid. It's not about that. It's just like how you were saying earlier, when we can share on a level of that word love is very significant to everyone. Mm-hmm. Why do we say that before we leave? Why do we say that to people that we care about? Is because like we're sharing this time.
Yeah.
I think that's the hardest thing that I had to realize, was a letting go of my own conception or perceptions of people who think that they they're right.
Yeah.
And right, you're laughing because
it's hard.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who just want to be right instead of happy. And I don't know, in the last, you've known me for a while now. Last 3 years, I've probably been searching for my happy the most.
Yeah.
Coming onto that whole starting to do acting, starting to do stunts, and developing like a whole team that believes in my talents, and I wholeheartedly believe in theirs too, because like we've already risked our lives on some of these stunts. Like, I'm not supposed to look in the camera, but there's a lot of great things coming out, and I'm ready to share too, man. I know you got like a whole bunch of big projects coming up. Is there anything that you want to like share or gear people towards in the next few months or anything like that?
No, I mean, I guess honestly, I like to explain it, I guess, a little more, like what actually it is, because a lot of people are confused, and so I think I like to explain it. So it's like, how you're saying, like people think you're crazy, you know. So it's like every revolution has key components to it, and so I think a lot of people are crazy in this day and age. I mean, everybody's like online preaching, but it's like there's not a lot of action, and so like it's crazy to think that people are paying bills to some like stuff we don't know we're paying to. So, so it's like everything's crazy, but it's like the inspiring action is the only thing that's really like. So back to the explanation, how this all ties in. The Matt complex is essentially like a free universe, and so it's like you have the clothes, which are image. If this moment was looked back, 200 years from now, there's gonna be an image, like the Black Panthers. There was an image for them, the black coats and everything, right? So it's like that's what the clothes are for. You have a message through art, and I wrote a book that is essentially correspondent with the clothes and the artwork. So it's like, and then if you tie in the definition of camoism, you see a bigger picture of like that's honestly like why I can never answer like what I do it for. It's like it's more of a feeling than a physical type of explanation, if that makes sense. And so this is the best way I can explain it. You know, it's like this way because it doesn't exist it shouldn't exist in a way that is already explained because then it wouldn't be, inspiring. It'd just be some type of loop or cycle.
Okay, well, I'm trying to wrap my head around this right now. You're saying that it's not exactly tangible in my hands because you're saying that it's a feeling, like it's coming out through you.
Yeah.
And
it's more of a spark. How you said earlier, why do people spend all this money on clothes when it's like you're gonna just wear a white tee and you're gonna spend like $800 on a white tee or $20 on a white tee? It's the same white tee.
Yeah.
And honestly, I mean, just doing clothes, I know it's the same fabrics. I mean, you might get a process or something to it, but it's the same fabrics. So it's like when people on like a mass scale get to a spot where they all have that attitude, I think it looks like this. You make your own clothes, right? You can easily write a book. I mean, we've talked enough. I know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, you're into films, you're making films. 200 years from now, if you look back on you, you're gonna see a shift in personal freedom.
Wow, that hit me heavy right now, dude.
So that's the whole plan of this thing. That's why it's called chemoism. So if you look, if you go online and look at what that means, that's the whole plot of it. It's bigger than mutual. That's why I said it doesn't stem from a place of business.
Man, those words, like, the reason I say that is because again, I've been searching for my happy for a long time, and coming across it myself. This is one of my happies right here. Like, one of my favorite things to do is have conversation, because that, like, golden nugget right now that you shared is like giving me my own personal freedom. Like, I've just realized, I could say in the last 2 or 3 weeks, like, doing everything that's me has driven more people to want to help and be apt to, like, be behind my cause because of all this stuff. Like, one of the things I've always say is, to think golden, to speak golden, to act golden. Like, all of these things, it comes with a resonance, because, like, if you keep, vibing on that same vibration and everybody's going to keep coming in on it, they're all going to vibe with you. Now, exactly. You hear me talk about, vibes all the time, because, like, that gut feeling that you have when you're around good people and the same gut feeling that you have when you're around bad people, you feel it. Why is that? That's like that whole energy thing. And because I've just been searching for that good vibe all the time now, that is what has created my happiness, man. Like, I mean, even for yourself, I know there's, some people will look at this and they'll be in your mind being like, okay, he crazy too. He crazy too. But, like, you don't see, somberness. You see, like, just another place. Like you said, it's a free universe. And man, creating has really changed my mind on a lot of stuff. Yeah. I think, when they say, like, you create your life or you create your own circumstance, those things are, I think, one of the highest priorities for the stuff that I do now. And, I know you're going to be part of it. A lot of people don't know what else that we've been working on, but, I'm looking forward to a lot of stuff that we're going to accomplish.
Likewise.
How are we doing on time?
I'm chilling, so.
Okay, we'll probably do it around here. Final thoughts on anything? Like, actually, promo anything that you want to do right now before we sign off?
I think this is enough promo, honestly.
For sure. This has been really eye-opening for myself. I'm over here thinking, like, you're the one that's going to be sharing a lot more, but I kind of feel like I dove into myself a little bit on this one.
Oh, definitely.
I just want to thank our guest right here, Mike Texada from Matt Complex. Again, look for his new line coming out, Emergence. This is Master of Thought, and you guys have been listening to Conversations with Master of Thought. Takai Media team heading up the vocals and the video stream on this. Look them up on Instagram. You can find all of us also on Instagram. Master of Thought, Astral Armada, Takai Media, Matt Complex, and Mike Texada. Signing off for Ep.2. Peace. Peace out. Shine on.